right, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about the Glock 26, which is right here. But before I get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Malabar matchup number 2. So that happened, I think it was last weekend. As I sit here today, I'm getting ready for this weekend is the Western. So yeah, it was last weekend. Coming on top in SSP was Joyce Hernandez. I've talked to Joyce before. I've seen her at Nationals. She SOs at Nationals, so we always appreciate traveling SOs. Thank you, Joyce. ESP was Philo Partidas. Phelo Partidas. If I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry, but I think it's Philo or Fellow Partidas. CCP, Brian Laux. Said that name before. I think it's Laux. I don't remember if he won CCP the first time around for the Malabar matchup. If you guys know how the scores are calculated after Malabar matchup number 3, let me know, because I'd be interested to compare the names on here. CDP, coming on top of CDP was my boy Paul Munizi. I've known Paul a long time. He's a great bug shooter. Paul, what are you doing in CDP? Get back to bug. Get back to bug where you belong. Especially when there is bug at this match. I'm just kidding, buddy. Revolver, Jeffrey Harrison. Well done, Jeffrey. I don't think we've met before, but well done. Bug was Joe Mitchell. I met Joe down in Texas. So another Joe and another bug shooter. So good dude all around. Top of CO and high overall was Greg Sybil. I think it's pronounced Sybil. Scible. So well done, Greg, coming on top of CO. 99 total shooters, of which 58 were shooting in CO for just about 58.5%. So small match. We're seeing the trend continue between 50 and 60% of shooters shooting CO. So more ammunition, if you will, for making another optics division. I contend bug optics. Only 2 DQs, so not bad. There are 3 DNFs at the bottom. I can't tell if they're gear check failures or if they're something else, but I suspect they were. But they could have been walk-offs too. So not too bad. Like I said, I'm interested to know how the final tally on all that comes about. So if you know, let me know. But what I'd like to talk about today is the Glock 26. This is the same Glock 26 that I shot in 2021 at Nationals with a few added differences. So I shot that one, when I shot it in 2021, I had metal base plates, Dawson's, that I was hoping would make them drop a little better because they don't drop out very well. But so far I've been doing okay with these ETS mags. They seem to pop out a little better. I added for this year the grip tape and the Chiral, Kiral defense. This changes the grip angle a little bit to be a little bit more normal. Thank you, Glock. Obviously, I added the Trigicon SRO, and in 2021 I did not shoot it with the TLR6 up front. This is the light laser. It's okay in CO. I bet it will be okay in bug optics, and since it's not a thing yet anyway, I'm going to say it's okay. I used to have up here the extended and raised slide catch, slide release, but I got rid of that. It just wasn't really necessary. So anyway, let's take a look at a few more stages. We'll come back. I'll show you the box or the gun in the box over the tabletop, and then we'll come back at the end with the pros and cons.
I'm getting numb to it now.
Ah! All right, so here we are with the top of the gun in the box. I'm trying to freehand this thing and stay as still as I can. But there it is in the box. As you can see, I think it would fit in the box just fine if it didn't have the optic in. The Chiral defense backstrap might be preventing it a little bit, but I think it would work. Even if I had to trim that down a little bit, I could. So fits in the box generally, and it weighs about 24.2 ounces. So it would definitely make weight in bug. Depending on what we made it in bug optics, I'm sure we'd make it for that too.
I would since he's so bit like he can bread it easier.
All right, welcome back. So those are the stages of the Glock 26. Some of those I've used before, but I've only shot a couple of matches with this thing since I kind of got it up and going. It was kind of searching for a holster a little bit. Couldn't find. I had a number of them. They're not difficult to find, but I couldn't find like the one that I wanted to use. Finally found it, and I've been running it just a little bit of practice and a couple of matches since then. So let's get into the pros and cons for the Glock 26. First of all, it's a Glock. So aftermarket support, there's stuff everywhere for this. All the stuff that I talked about that I did to this or that I have on this, the light, obviously the dot, the base pads, extra magazine catches. I had it at one point, I don't even remember who made it, the slide catch that's extended and raised, and I just ended up not liking it and not going with it. But, you know, and sights, this stuff's everywhere for Glocks, even for Glock 26. Oh, and this is a chiral defense. I don't know it changes the grip angle, but it's also kind of like a beaver tail. So I don't remember what they call it, but chiral defense, K-I-R-A-L. That stuff's easy to find. So there's aftermarket support is plentiful for Glock. So, you know, no worry with that stuff. Sometimes, like I have a CSX on the way, and just before I even still on background checks because I live in Washington and I can't have it for 100 years after I give them my money. But just looking at holsters and extra stuff for that, there's not a lot out there. So unlike the Glock 26, you got plenty of stuff for that guy. Holsters are plentiful. They're everywhere. So like I said, I was kind of like looking for one that I really wanted. Sometimes, I don't know, my fat belly pushes the gun into awkward positions, and so I was like trying to find one that I really liked, and I ended up kind of taking a We the People holster and molding it into what I wanted, which I have to do sometimes. With guns, heat them up and get the gun in there and get it to work, but it works fine. But even with the TLR6, without the TLR6, there's just a myriad of holsters. You can, since it's just a chopped down Glock 19, you can even get a Glock 19 holster and do that. So plenty of holster options for the 26, even with the TLR6 on it. Oh yeah, not the last pro, but another pro, and this is that they're everywhere. So like you're probably not going to go into a gun store and not find a Glock 26. Every time I've gone looking for one, unfortunately for me, I end up like buying guns and selling guns. And I had 2 Glock 26s at one point. I only have the one now, but they're everywhere. So if you're looking for one, you're going to be able to find one. They've been making them since 1992. So. And probably the last but most significant pro for this thing is that it just shoots better than any micro compact that I've got. And mostly that's because of, you know, I've been shooting this with 125 power factor recoil, 125 power factor ammunition, and the recoil isn't too stout compared to, like, if I put the same ammo into a 365 or even a 365 XL, it's just more stout than this thing. So it probably has to do with the size and the weight of it. It just absorbs recoil a little better than any of those micro compacts that I've tried in Bug Division so far. So that ammo, if I put it into a 365, it will not make, especially like the 3.1 inch barrel, like it will not make power factor. But if I put it into this gun, it'll do 130. And then if I take that same ammo and put it in like an X5 Legion, it'll come out at like 133, 135. So like, I think that the Glock barrels are just a little bit faster than others. So if anybody knows why that is, let me know. I'm sure it has something to do with the rifling or some stuff I don't even know about. So, okay. So this is one of the only Glock videos I'm going to make where I have just about the same amount of cons as I do, because usually I have a lot of cons for when I talk about Glocks, but this one I don't have too many. So the stock Glock trigger on this thing just sucked. It was not good at all. But my buddy Mark Ayala, I gave this to him, and I was like, he's like a Glock wizard. He knows all about how to make those things good. And I was like, hey man, would you look at this? Just make it not bad. And he took it and he got it. I don't know what all he did to it. He told me, but I can't remember all of it. But he did a number of things to it. I'd have to bring him here for him to tell you. But it's like 3 pounds now. It's crisp. It's good. I don't need it to be any better than that. I don't need it to be like a 1911 trigger, but or a 2011 trigger. But it is great now. So I still say I was debating about whether or not to put that in a pro or a con, and I decided on con because You know, if you don't have a buddy who knows a lot about Glocks, you might have a hard time getting the trigger to be as good as mine is now. Second thing, the grip. I just don't see a reason for this grip to be this short. Like, of the bug guns that I've got, the HK, the 365s, you know, all the ones I've tried, this is the shortest grip. I think that, I get it, they're going for concealment. I think that having a gun that you can get your pinky on and a magazine that's flush would have been an ideal gun. Like, I think that that might be like an ideal carry gun. Something like a 26X, which is like, that might be a little bit too long, but like a 19 grip with a 26 slide, I think that'd be a very interesting gun. I'm trying to make one right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. But even a little bit shorter than that, like I said, like a 12 round length magazine and grip with a 26 slide, I think that would be like just about the sweet spot for carry guns. But I don't see a reason for the grip to be that short, Glock. So I'm sure you're listening. There's really only one light for this thing. And that's the TLR6. So I think that there's plenty of other subcompacts that have a rail. I think that was entirely doable for them to put a rail on this thing. And throughout all the upgrades through all the years, this is Gen 5, they've just never done it. So the only real light available is this, the TLR6. And there's another company, I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially the TLR6 made by somebody else. It has almost the same profile, and I think it will even fit in the same holsters. So good on them for, you know, seeing that, hey, we're going to make another option and you can use the same holster, but it doesn't really add much difference to it. The most significant con is that these mags, they just don't fall free very well. So this is the stock mag. This is kind of the test I came up with, and it just barely even pops out. So I got a hold of ETS mags. As you can see, I did it off camera already. Spoiler alert. But this sitting just about straight and with my finger not hitting underneath, it comes out really far. So like, there's just so much more, there we go, ejection from the ETS magazines. But with that also being said, I was practicing with the ETS mags, and this had 6 rounds in it when I dropped it. I don't know if you can see. 6 rounds, and rounds went flying everywhere. The mag broke, and they have a lifetime warranty, so they're gonna replace it, or so they say, but I don't know. So definitely a con, because if you get one or the other. You get mags that are reliable and aren't going to break on you, or you get them stuck in the mag well. So I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I've been pretty kind to the Glock so far. Usually I'm not a big fan of Glocks, but I really like this 26. I'm going to enjoy shooting it. Coming up on Saturday. Saturday is the Western. God, what else do we have coming up? So Saturday, the Western. After the Western we're off for 1 weekend, and then Washington State USPSA Championship is here in Washington, and then immediately over to the RMR the following weekend. And I think we're back for 1 weekend. I don't even think it's that. I think it's the first week of June, and we're over to Area 1. So just a super fast pace in May and the beginning of June. Then we're relaxing through July until the end of July for the Washington State Championship, and then practicing all the way till Nationals. That's about it. So yeah, if you have the time and the means, check out www.dz-214.com, where you can donate to all the vetted veterans charities that we support. We appreciate your help with that. And also check out the link in the description. We're at about 130 or so signatures for the Bug Optics petition. I seem to be getting the most traction by going to matches and tapping people on the shoulder and being like, hey dude, sign this. Do you think this is a good idea? Sign this. And as I've alluded to before, almost every person who signs it is like option number 2. Option number 2 all the way. Like, nobody wants to do 6 rounds anymore. Even if IDPA just upped the round count to something reasonable, I'd be happy. Rather have optics, but I'd take round count at this point. Anyway, that's it. So we'll see you at the Western or the RMR or wherever I see you. We'll see you in the next video.